This here is the Elgato Stream Deck Plus. And the differences we have with this bit of kit, lads. I mean, you've all heard about a Stream Deck, and you can also get like a virtual Stream Deck. You can pop that on your phone, and you can use your phone as a Stream Deck. What we have here is the Stream Deck Plus. And what Elgato have done with this has been out for quite some time. It's not brand new. What they've done, they've reduced the number of clickable buttons. So on this, we have, 2, 4, 6, 8 clickable buttons. We also have this touch screen. And there's buttons on that when you touch them. I'll show you all this when she's up and running. And you can move that across, and that'll give you even more and more and more. I mean, I'm fairly sure you can put an unlimited amount of buttons on this if you wish, and you just kind of scroll them across. But they've also added on these little dials down here, look. And they spin left or right, and you can feel it, as in, you can feel the click each time. But they also click in, right? Now, why is this important for us as flight simmers? These dials, the knobs, these are absolutely ideal for your heading or altitude, vertical speed, course, all of that stuff. But also then when it comes to your radios. But not only that, right? Looking at the back of the unit here, see this area here? And we'll go into this in a little bit more detail, look. So if I do one of these, look. So at the back of the gadget here, look. Well, it does nothing. I mean, that's where you plug in your wire. That's where the cable goes in there. However, there are some new updates or upgrades that you can pick up from Elgato, such as you can actually replace the entire back of this, and in slides a full XLR unit. What? You can make this into an XLR, right? Also, if you want, you can change the back of this and turn it into a USB hub. Now, I'll show you what the pictures look like over on the website. And the one that I have here behind me that you can't see because it's buried, I have an XLR in my one, right? But when you're looking at the hardware itself, I mean, you can see from it. I mean, they're stylish. You can get them in different colors. You can get like the black one or the white one. This is what I'm telling you about all the little switches and the knobs on it. And if you want it, you can customize this thing. I mean, you can get, if you wanted to, you can get different colored dials if you wanted to go bananas. Do you know what I mean? But it's pretty much a standalone product. I mean, it just sits where you want it. It's textured on the bottom, so it's not going to push out of the way too much, because you don't need to exert an awful lot of force on these things. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't need an awful lot of force. So the unit itself, I swear by these. Shameless plug with the merchandise, Murphy. I use these exclusively, and I use them a lot because, lads, right? Yes, we can use them for flight simming, but how deep can we actually go with them? Because you can use them for your PC in terms of, hey, I want to turn on this button, or I want to turn on that button, and yeah, turn on my sim, turn down the volume of my ATC, turn up the volume of the sim, turn down the volume of that window, because getting the Elgato Stream Deck, well, that gives you access to Elgato's, their entire audio system. So I've just turned on the Stream Deck, right? And on the main screen here, well, I'm going to open up the Stream Deck software. Now, I have connected...
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Lads, I'm trying to do technology, and you're turning on and off me lights. Brilliant. Right, on the screen here, this is the Stream Deck software, right? And if I have this little drop down... This is the Stream Deck I've located over here beside me, and I use all these for me filters. See all these buttons here for the filters? And I've my flight sim sounds, and I've all that jazz. So that's a standard Stream Deck. The one I want to show you here, well, this is the Stream Deck Plus. And if I cycle through the buttons here, have a look at the camera on the lower side of your screen and see the way everything moves, right? So these I've set up. Well, they don't do anything yet, but I do have brightness and I do have speakers. If I go to the next page, nothing. The next page, there's a something. The next page, here's more something, right? There's loads and loads and loads of stuff. So what I'm going to do here, because we're in the simulator, I'm going to start adding in some stuff. And how it works is as follows. These are, you can delete all these, look. So delete, delete, and delete. And you notice now we have a clear canvas, both on our screen here, which is the app, but also down here on the gadget, right? So very basic things. Well, let's have a look over on the right hand side of this menu located just here. All right, you might be saying, what are you doing, Murph? I'm going to show you. The Stream Deck will come with its own as we call plugins, and with the Stream Deck Plus you can say, right, do you want what do you want to add? Do you want to add keys or do you want to add dials? Well, the dials go down here, so I want to add some keys. All right, well, what do you want to do? Do you want multi-action? Now, what it means by a multi-action, you press a key once, and that key will do multiple things. Multiple things. So when you see the state of this, I'm going to add in a multi-action. All right, so we're going to drag in multi-action. Now it's saying, drag an action from the right and drop it here. So I can say, oh, Bajani, I can add in, you know, turn on or off, you know, the volume, or I can open a website. Maybe I can open. All right, what do you want to open? System open. Yeah, look at that. Deadly. There we go. Just drag the file over. There's the first one. Let's add another one. Check this out, right? So this is going to be, I want it to open a website, all right? And we're going to say www.tonemurphy.com. And for this little one, we can add in a little delay here, right? So 1 to 2, 100, yeah, that'll do. And now we'll add up another one. Let me see. We can open up, say, another program, yeah? And why don't we go now into another one? So that's programs. What about Volanta? Okay, here's Volanta. Parse Volanta in there for me, please. Okay, so I've added these 3 in here, right? So I'm going to minus all this. Now, if I press on this single key, give it a second. She's loading up. There's Volanta starting to boot up. The website has opened on my other screen. Look, twotonemurphy.com. And Navigraph is just loading in as well. One single button has opened 3 different things for me. And like, you can just drag and drop the stuff in that you want to start up. Now you might say to yourself, well, why is that going to be handy, Murph? Well, like, how many, like, look at my start menu. All my camera stuff lives in this folder. You know, anything to do with me rig from Doff Reality lives in that folder. Anything to do with hard, like, I've multiple folders where everything is. But on a Stream Deck, I can say, hey, I want to go flying general aviation. All right, that I can tell it, I want Say Intentions open, I want Navigraph open, and I want, you know, a website open, a Sky Vector or something to track the weather. And that becomes a single button. That's kind of the infrastructure we're looking at. And because it is kind of drag and drop, and, you know, you can open and close things and delete things, that's just one example. It's a multi-action. Sweet. Right, get that out of there. What else can we do? What about the dials, right? And we have some options here. You know, action wheel, action trigger, brightness, volume control, system, right? We can also do other stuff. No, the buttons don't pull, they only push. If we wanted to find more, well, we can go into the Elgato marketplace, and here you're going to find some freeware plugins that you can horse onto your stuff. So if we look at plugins with dial support, these are all the different plugins we can have. You want a CPU monitor? Throw it in there. You want your YouTube socials in there? Throw it in there. So they have an entire massive portfolio of different little apps that are up and running. So you can really start making life so much more easier. You know, where is that buried? I just want to control that audio. I don't, you know, all of this sort of stuff, right? You can do all of that. Photoshop stuff is in there. Control your smart home gadgets like Philips Hue, Windows display settings, right? Touch of a button, turn on HDR, on or off, all this sort of stuff, right? And that's all from an inside Elgato themselves. What about the sim? What about our flight sim? All right. Well, okay. We know in the sim at the moment we have hotkeys, as in, you know, these custom views. So these custom views, I press these buttons on my keyboard, right? Now, something that we figured out at FS Weekend, when we were looking at some of the new hardware coming out, especially with a yoke, how do you manage your views without a keyboard? You know, you're going to put the keyboard on your lap, you're going to try and mount it somewhere. Well, a Stream Deck is incredibly easier to have closer to you because, well, you have mounting options with these things. They can sit there, or, you know, you can buy mounts off Amazon, you can get them 3D printed. You can have the absolute crack with this stuff. So how can I use my Stream Deck to help me for some basic functions within the sim? Well, have a look at this. If I go to a key, and if I come down here to system, and I'm going to say it's a hotkey, drag over the hotkey, drag over another hotkey, and I'm only using this for an example. Here's 3 little buttons I'm going to use here, right? Yes, Roy, 100%. SPAD and also MobiFlight. You've other options, but this is just out of the box. Anyway, here's one here. The title for this one, I'm going to say left. And see the way I typed in left, it comes up here, but it also comes up here on the Stream Deck itself. Now I'm going to say click to assign. Numpad 4. All right. This one here, I'm going to say GoPro view. And then this one here, we're going to call right. And I'm going to assign the right. Now, what I've done with these buttons, lads, I've selected these to the key binds that I've already set in the simulator. So, for example, if I now press this Elgato switch that I've said, press the button that I use for the left, there's my left view. Press it again, it comes back to where it was. What about my GoPro view? Well, there it is. So straight away, without even getting into software or any of that, I can already start programming my Stream Deck as an additional button box for views. And you can change how those buttons appear. If you're saying, Jesus, I can't make out, good man Phantom, I can't make out what those buttons are. Well, tell you what, let's go in here and like edit the icon. So open the Stream Deck icon library and like you can get very, very fancy stuff in here. Default lights or default colors. So suddenly you can start putting in different colors or different icons that's going to help you be able to see these things. Very, very handy indeed. What if I wanted to use something down here for this screen? Or if I wanted to have multiple screens. So see the way I have brightness? Let's go into the dials. What if I use a dial for a hotkey? Right? Rotate counterclockwise, clockwise, or tap. So if I rotate counterclockwise, I want this to be 1. And if I counterclockwise, it's going to be 2. And if I click, it's going to be 0. And we're just going to call this, you know, camera views Cessna 172. Camera Cessna 172. All right. So now that I've dialed those into one of these dials, look what happens in the sim. Yeah. See the way we can like really quickly go through these views. And then if you click it, back to my home view. So you could set up a number of different options to say, hey, you know, I'm going to be doing IF4 training. Therefore, I don't want to be looking outside. Little click of a button. Yes, you can do it with your keyboard. Of course you can. But by using something like this, I mean, effectively a button box, you're on the way, like, you're on the way. That's how you can create your own little things. And again, you can do quite more. I mean, you can bind whatever's in the sim. You go into your options here in the simulator. Anything that you have set to your keyboard, anything that's in your keyboard, you can pop it into or onto your Stream Deck. But it doesn't stop there. Well, you can go further with that. You can use some of the freeware plugins, right? Or you can use something like what SPAD has and so on. Let's look at one of the freeware plugins, right? So over to flightsim.to, there's an add-on over here specifically for your Stream Deck, and it's called the Pilotdeck. It's a Stream Deck plugin, all right? And you can say, whoa, hang on, look at this. They've icons here. They've a lot of stuff going on. Now, it gives you an introduction. This is a free download. And for Versatility, is it? He created it. 18,000 downloads. But this is for free. Now, I will say this. It comes with an extra bit of software that gave me a headache. See this VJoy? See this VJoy thing? Don't use that. You don't need it, and it'll if you have a controller, it'll kill your Xbox controller. You gotta remove this VJoy thing. Just be aware of that. Anyone hits a headache with this, let me know. You need to remove the VJoy thing. But anyway, you download this. All right, you download it. Tells you what to do with it. Where'd you put it in? Okay, but what do we do next? All right, so it's now downloaded, and look what I'm going to do here. It's a virtual joystick, correct? If I scroll across this touchscreen, that's going to the next page, which I've nothing on it. And again, we can bring up, see the menu? We've now gone to page 2. And if I swipe this across again, oh wait, hang on. We have some stuff happening here. This is all to do with the sim. So let's get ourselves started here for the moment. So I'm on the ground. Give me some battery power and give me the Avionics. All right. So we're going to let these puppies start warming up. And when we're doing this, well, I'm going to open up the Stream Deck app, right? This is class. So I can see we've buttons here. We've COM 1, COM 2. We have our barrow, right? And then I can see some other stuff over here. You need to reactivate the Xbox controller and the USB. Yeah, I tried it right. Gave me. I just had a disaster with it, you know. But I'll show you now in a second, right? So we're gonna okay this, okay that, okay this, and okay that, right? Bring back up this little menu. This is from the free one. Now you'll see I have information here on my dials. I can visually see them, and at night time it's class looking. Look at this. If I want to change the altimeter, as I turn this, can you see that move? See the numbers moving? Yeah? So that's changing my altimeter. And if I look in here onto my altimeter itself, right? Look at this. You see the dial moving? All right. Now, 1 is inches of mercury, 1 is hectopascals, yeah? So I know 299 or 2 should be 1013, which is there. Slightly out. 985 or 3041. Now we can change this. 1030. There's a small mismatch here, or mismatch here. I need to verify that. So there's 1000 and there's 1010. Okay, so there's some sort of something I need to do there. 985 is current. That should be 985. Wonder why it's doing that now. I wonder do I need to calibrate that? But you can see the crack here, right? And if you click it, it changes it from inches of mercury into hectopascals. Right, pretty sweet. What about the radios? So we're currently tuned into our comm radios, right? Now bring up say intentions here because that'll actually give us some ATC here in the background, right? So we'll fire this up here in the background and we're on the ground here. Cancel that for a moment. And we're going to see, can we tune our radios in to some say intentions, right? Does this also work if you have a loop deck? I'm unsure, Calix. I'm unsure.
Lufthansa 441 heavy. Proceed direct to 6 Alpha Lima Tango.
Okay, so we're on 124850.
Lufthansa 441 heavy.
Okay, so let me see. 124850 is the control. So CTAF is going to be 123.5. So let's go. 123. 123 is there. Clicking it. Decimal 5. Right, hang on. We're down here now. 123.5. You can see a change on the screen in front of me, yeah? Now if I click on this button here, see the slider? This becomes a button that transfers the frequency, and now 123.5 is the active frequency. What? See, now we're looking at 124. Well, let's go 122.8. Yeah. And to change over to the 124s, click it in once. 1228. When you're happy, click on the slide bar, and that transfers your frequency. That is absolutely incredibly handy if you want to put all your radio controls onto teeny tiny quiet, Patrick. If you want to put all your radio stuff, that's how you do it, right? It might be a little bit hard to see. It's very clear here. The camera mightn't be as clear, but that's what it looks like, right? But we also have other stuff we can play with. Go to the next page. Look at this. Now we have our nav frequencies. Yeah. We can put on DME stuff. We can put on nav. Like, these are all for free. Yeah. These are all your, will this access in the menu? Sometimes this will work. We can go into the flight plan. It's not working with this unit. I think it works on the G1000. Yeah. Then you have your autopilot controls, transponder, ident. Yeah. So yeah, it's I don't think it's working off these, but there's your altitude. So your transponder. Where's my transponder on this? So it's currently set. It's currently set to on. See that? Now we put it onto standby. So it'll control all of these things. And if I want to say, well, look, what's my squawk code? See these numbers down here? So if I want to say no squawk, 1200 1. Go back one, you Muppet. 1200. Here's my squawk code. It comes in individually straight away onto the screen. How handy is that? Squawk code, you know, friggin' 1461. Straight away, ident the devil and turn it on or put it onto altitude mode. You're doing it all from here. How easy does that make life? Considering, yes, you can use the likes of, you know, the big Cytec radio pedal or panel, or you could use it on your iPad or whatever. But using the Stream Deck, it's so handy. And because it's a Stream Deck, you can say, right, I'm finished with the transponder. Put me back over to my radios now, please. There's my radios. Quick, need to change the frequency. Put me onto the control on 12123. So we need to go 12123. Where are we now? 121 230. 121 121.23. Testing. 121. Oh, that's nav, you muffet. 121.23. 121 230. 230. That's it. Click this on. 121230. Kitty Hawk, November 235, Romeo Mike, radio check. Will it work?
November 235 Romeo, Mike, London Control, readability 5.
Right, so that's deadly. And you also have all your autopilot controls, and there's other stuff that you can do. What do you think? Like, it's very good, isn't it? Didn't fix the issue with you being a Muppet Murph, right? Now, there is something I'm after noticing there. That could be from the app or it could be from the flight sim. There is a mix or a mismatch when it comes to our barrow, right? So if I want to find me barrow, see the way it is there, right? There's the barrow. It says 3041 hectopascals. There is a difference here, so I need to figure out why that is out of sync. All right? Very good, isn't it? GNS 530. There's a button on this to play with the GNS 530. Go back here now. Nav. Right, so what can I do here? Well...
FedEx 389 heavy descend and maintain 12000.
Nav marker. Nav 2.
FedEx 389 heavy.
There's Nav 2 coming online up there, look. Right? Nav 1. DME. Heading, is it? Yeah. OBS. And our nav frequencies. And you can see them changing on the screen just above my head, look. Isn't that deadly, isn't it? Direct 2. Don't think that'll work. Procedure, flight plan, menu, enter. Don't think that wants to work. What's this now? Don't think I can move these. Back. There we go. Procedures, no. Show me the menu. Okay, can we change the... Look at this, lads. I'm controlling the InSim 530. Like, how deadly is that? I have a Real Sim Gear GNS 530. They're about $700, right? I don't use it. I can control me Avionics, me radios. Not only that, then, I can go back here and, you know, leave that app, scroll all the way across, go back to me views, please. Just by scrolling the thing across. It's so powerful. It's brilliant. And it'll work not only in your flight sim. You can add another tab here and it does your trucking. Or you add another tab and it does, you know, shortcuts or different hotkeys. Or you can control your lights, or like you can do all of these things. And it's for friggin' free. So the two gadgets you can get, and you can download many more. Then you can go for the paid versions, right? You can go for the paid versions as well. Where was the app I was showing you? Was it this one? Yeah. So the same, different developer, but it works with the Stream Deck plugin, the profile. See this one here? It'll work with that. This is where you add in the generic GA profile, or you can add in the airliner profile, or like you can do all these different things. If I wanted to go in here and say, what's this now? If we say, where is it now? MSFS Stream Deck profile. You can get the pay word ones, flight panels. But these charge you a few bob, right? Flight panel like this, like these are just mad prices, right? But anyway, I don't know. I've never used this stuff, but let's have a look at the A350, right? What do we get from here? So it shows you the different panels that it does. Time of day, plus minus an hour.
Hello there.
Load. I don't know what that does. Load custom buttons. Yeah. Now, why spend 20, 30, 40, 50 quid? I mean, you can make these up yourself, but I'm fairly sure, I mean, these guys have gone the extra mile. I mean, they've probably fully coded them. You know, here's the autopilot profile. Well, how will that look on my Stream Deck? Or flight director, you know, landing system. Oh, it's all there, look. And that's how they'll appear, and they work seamlessly out of the box once you load in that aircraft. But now, the 20 quid for probably, like, you know what I mean? You can, it's nice, you know, your lighting and all this. But I don't think you need to use these. I think the freeware options give you way more control. You get to start to learn how the system works, and reach out to folks on our Discord, because there's Cyrus. Cyrus, he makes his own stuff. He designs his own stuff. Hey, you want a button for that? I'll get you a button for that. Right? So that is the Stream Deck Plus. It's from Elgato. This is our first kind of look at it. I will be doing more with this. I want to see how kind of, you know, how can this really enhance our flight simming stuff? Starting off at the very beginning, I've done some very basic custom views, right? And I can allocate things like the lights. I can get in then and I can mess around with the avionics, with the radios, all of this stuff. It's class. And you know the great thing about all of this, lads? It's one piece of hardware that will work across multiple platforms. Multiple. They're about 200 or 230 bucks. You can buy them direct from Elgato. Amazon sometimes have sales with them, right? Elgato are owned by Corsair. Keep your eye out for sales. Elgato do their own kind of sales every now and again. Like you can pick, I'm looking at prices here on the website. I can see €198 on Amazon. Thomann have them for €220. You know what I mean? So keep your eye out for them. If the price range is just slightly beyond your reach right now, just keep your eye out for them. They fluctuate in prices all the time. But lads, I can promise you, looking at this Stream Deck from a flight sim perspective, from a PC user, and from a streamer, absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Do you know? And like, if I zoom out here, wait till you see the cut of this now, right? Oh no, that's up and down, you muppet. I'll zoom out here with my little camera, look. And I'll just give you an idea. Don't break this now, Murph, right? Jesus. So what's in front of me? This is what's in front of me on my desk. There's my keyboard, right? There's my keyboard. Here's my Stream Deck XL. And I have a standard Stream Deck on top of it, all thanks to Gibbo Ireland, because he's a legend and he built that for me. But for example, look at some of the stuff I can do here, right? So this is all the music I use, you know. This is how I control the streams, right? But I also have some other things. If I want to disappear me, for example, Jesus, Murphy disappeared into oblivion. That's what I do with all of this sort of stuff, yeah? And you have multiple pages, look. Multiple pages. That's my keen counter, but I think that's...
He thinks you're the biggest idiot of them all.
There's my keen counter, right?
He thinks you're the biggest idiot of them all.
Could you hear that, lads? Right, what else do we have? You know, if I go into the different screens that I do, you know...
How did you know?
That's what I use it for. And I have another Stream Deck over here in the corner, look. There's my other Stream Deck. And this, have a look at the main sim screen. This is where I go messing with all me filters, look. See the filters that I'm pressing? Black and white.
Oh, Jesus.
But you get the idea, right? You get the idea. And if I wanted to get rid of the volume in the sim, that's the volume gone in the sim. I want to bring it back up. It's back up. And I have other options for other things over there. It absolutely makes an incredible difference to your flight sim. It really, really does, lads. It's absolutely friggin' class. And I love using the... Here's my other one, look. One over here. So over here, look. That's the one, that's the main one I use over on this side of the fence. And then I have a mini there. So I have loads of Elgato stuff, you know. So, very, very, very good. I swear by them. I think they're fantastic. And, you know, I don't get any commission. I just think they're very, very good. Elgato have absolutely nailed it. And for flight simmers, I think they're just brilliant. Stream Deck is your favorite hardware. Yep. A mini me, yeah. So if anyone has any questions, or maybe you've picked one up, or you want to figure out, you know, what else they can do, well, talk to us. Yeah, talk to us. Because as I said, I use these quite a lot. I use all of them. There are other options out there, right? I mean, again, looking at the Elgato stuff, right? Where is this now? If we look at the Elgato Stream Deck, like if you look at their website, and not only that, remember I was telling you that they do these little extra bits for them as well, right? So Stream Deck, if we have a look, where is it now? Elgato.com, products, Stream Decks. These are the accessories, right? So this is what I was saying. You can put in the XLR dock. This goes on the back of your Stream Deck. So if you wanted to plug in your big fancy, and there's a preamp on this, right? So you can use it as an entire audio interface, unlike, you know, if you had something like a Go XLR or whatever, right? But not only that, if you wanted to add in additional USBs, look at the hub. This plugs into the back of that Stream Deck. Isn't that the cat's pajamas, lads? Right? And if you're looking at the products and you want to learn more about the different Stream Decks that they do, right? There's the Mini, there's the XL, and here's the Plus, and there's the original. Elgato, will you do something with your page? That is handy. So here's the gadget here, and you want to scroll down. They go through the entire thing, how it works. They have a beautiful website. Everything's very, very clear how you make things work. They're very customizable. You can change the icons, the lighting. You can do all of these things. As I said, you can customize the buttons. You can get the white version or the black version. They're all there. They all look lovely. And they're just class. Audio, your production console, and it gives you access to the Elgato audio